Welcome back to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 7 fall and winter fragrances from Genre Parfums. So stay tuned for that. And if you like the video, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. On this list, I do have one honorable mention. This should be high on the list, but I put it as an honorable mention because it will come as no surprise to anyone, and that is Noble Soul. This is a really well done clone of Black Phantom. Personally, it is my favorite. I find that it is nearly 100% similar. Very nice sillage and projection and longevity. And the real difference that I find is it's a little bit more syrupy than the original, but it's very close, and it's a beautiful rendition of a beautiful fragrance. The number 7 spot goes to Noir Zest, and this is a clone of Byredo Black Saffron. So this is a very heavy leather and raspberry fragrance. It does remind me quite a bit of Tuscan leather, although it's certainly not identical. I find it does have that somewhat chemically opening that Tuscan leather also has, and it really just adds a little bit more to it by having the saffron as well, and it is very similar. So if you do like Tuscan leather, you will probably like this. It does set itself apart a little bit, but honestly, this one is really nice, and the colder months, the colder weather is exactly when it's really nice to wear a sweet, leathery fragrance. So that is my number 7 spot. My number 6 spot goes to the fragrance Cure. This one has been hyped up kind of a little bit by the community, the genre community, although I don't think it gets quite as much love as a lot of the other fragrances, but it is also one of the older releases, and this is a really nice rendition of Amber Extrait by Genre Parfums. This is one I actually didn't quite appreciate when I first got this fragrance, but the really nice, beautiful amber in this smells so good. It just has this very pleasant and very luxurious smell around it. And I gotta say, this doesn't come off like a cheap imitation of the fragrance at all. It really does have a lot of quality in it, and it does smell and perform really excellently. So my number 6 spot, none other than Cure. The number 5 spot goes to Six-ish, and this is a clone of YSL Tuxedo, and it's done really well. This one, at least for my nose, from start to finish, is YSL Tuxedo. Has this nice, beautiful opening, very creamy, smooth, seductive dry down that works really well. It's a very classy fragrance, and since it is so smooth and creamy, it definitely does play well in the colder weather. This is also something that's fairly classy, as I mentioned, and as the name suggests, Tuxedo, and certainly is something that you can wear up or dress up a little bit. Of course, you certainly don't have to, because it is something that is very easy to wear, I think, and it's not going to be hard to pull off for most people. But this is certainly something you could wear to a formal event among others, and especially if you have one in the colder weather, this is a great one to reach for. Really do appreciate this this interpretation. I'm going to be doing a full review on that in the coming weeks, but for now, I'll just say I really do enjoy it. This one is fantastic. Next on the list, we have Bonfire, and this is a great interpretation of By the Fireplace. Now, I personally love By the Fireplace. I don't really have much of a problem with it, but a lot of people find that it's a little bit too much, and the charcoal note that it has, especially closer to the skin, is a little bit too much. This is a very close rendition, but the one thing that it has different is that that charcoal note is definitely dialed back a little bit. So I like to actually refer to this one as a more wearable version of By the Fireplace. So if you like that sweetness, that sort of nice chestnut roasting on the open fire kind of vibe, but the charcoal's too much for you, where you find when you wear it, it's a little bit too much for the people around you, this is a fantastic option. So it is By the Fireplace with that charcoal note toned down. Performance, projection, all very good. And the smell is beautiful. I love this fragrance. It definitely competes with the original in my opinion. And I do enjoy it, especially for those cozy nights in or what have you. So we are now at the top 3 fragrances, the best of the best in my opinion, and my number 3 fragrance is none other than Pendulum. And this is a really, really great interpretation of Side Effect by Initio. I know those price points for Initio are quite high, so I certainly wouldn't blame anyone for picking up a clone instead. And this one is fantastic. It's very, very close. It's a nice boozy tobacco fragrance. Has a little bit of a sweetness behind it too. And I just really love these boozy tobacco fragrances. You know, it has this beautiful, almost kind of spiciness there too in the opening that I really enjoy. And this is probably one of my favorite categories of fragrance. I love them very, very much. Gourmands and boozy tobacco fragrances are definitely a dream for me. And this one hits the spot really, really well. It definitely is a little bit boozier and a little bit sweeter at times. So it certainly is something that suits the colder weather a lot better. And I think it's definitely the time to be breaking this one out. That is my number 3 spot, Pendulum. My number 2 spot goes to none other than Tenor, and this is one of the old samples before it was actually released. This is one of Genre's originals. I gotta say, they do have some fantastic originals. One of my favorite fragrances, of course, one that I absolutely love is Voodoo. Of course, I gotta shout it out every time because I really love that bitter grapefruit. But now that the weather's getting colder, I think it's time for something like Tenor to shine. And honestly, I don't think it was something I certainly appreciated as much when I first smelled it, especially it was warmer months, and definitely it's more suited for the fall. This one opens up with a really nice prune note, which is unique and is very nice and syrupy sweet. It's a little bit of spiciness from that saffron, and it actually has a lot of smokiness too from the myrrh. So this one is a very unique combination of notes. It has a really nice sweetness that lasts a long time. That prune note is definitely very prominent and does have a nice syrupy quality. The dry down on this one is also really nice, very smooth, creamy. It has some woody qualities, and I do really enjoy it. So that is going to be my number 2, and that is Tenor. My number 1 spot will probably come as no surprise to a lot of people. I've talked about this fragrance a lot, and I've talked about how much I love the original of this fragrance, and that is Virtuoso by Genre Parfums. This is a really well done interpretation of Metallica. Really the biggest thing I find different with this fragrance and Metallica is that in the opening, Metallica has this really nice, subtle strawberry note. This one comes off a little bit more cherry. It's actually kind of funny. I think strawberry often comes off a little bit feminine. So you could actually say this is in the opening anyways, slightly more masculine. Although really it doesn't matter either way. What this one does right from start to finish is hit the nail on the head of that really nice, beautiful, creamy almond biscuit. And that is what I love about Metallica so much. It has very powerful sillage as well. This is one I love wearing, and it is one of the best gourmands in the world, in my opinion. And so having a really nice alternative to that, because it is not only expensive, it's very hard to get. So it's really nice having a great clone of that fragrance available, and that is a lot easier to get. Anyways, guys, that is my top genre list for the fall and winter. What are you guys looking forward to wearing? What are you guys looking forward to trying out? Let me know in a comment down below. And as always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next video.